Fellow Falcoholics, what is up? Welcome to episode 139 of the Falcoholic Live. I'm your host, Kevin Knight, joined by a wonderful guest this evening. He is Josh Harris, the Falcons' longtime long snapper at AUJ Harris on Twitter. Josh, how are you doing this evening?
Doing great, doing great. Thank you guys for having me on. Looking forward to talking a little bit with you guys.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you, man. All right. Also joining us, we have a full house of co-hosts this evening. First of all, we have Eric Robinson. He is _Eric_Robinson on Twitter. Eric, how are you this evening?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I kind of wish we just, had some stuff to talk about on this episode tonight, outside of Josh's interview, of course. But there's literally nothing going on in the football
Yes,
world.
which is why we've got a live mock draft for you guys, because there is nothing going on unless you want to talk, no offense to Josh Andrews, but I don't think we could fill an hour of airtime talking about Josh Andrews. So we're going to have to do a mock draft, which I know you guys have been looking forward to as well. So don't worry about that. Also with us tonight, we have Evan Birchfield at the very easy to remember Evan Birchfield on Twitter. Evan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad Josh is on, and get your questions ready and you can ask him.
Yep, guys. You can definitely get any questions for Josh in the chat. We'll try to get to as many of those as we can throughout the evening. And we also have a very special guest with us, the man, the myth, the legend, at the Falcoholic himself, Dave Choate. Dave, how are you this evening?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Always when we can get Dave on here, I think Dave enjoyed the last mock so much, we tempted him back with the potential of the mock. So
I'm hoping this time we can trade down enough to pick up every pick in the draft. I believe in us. We can do it.
Yeah, we can do it if we try hard enough, I'm sure. The teams in these mock draft scenarios, they seem very willing to play along with our shenanigans. So that's definitely helpful. I don't know that the real NFL would be that open to that, but we can dream. That's what this is all about. Also with us tonight, Will McFadden at Will McFadden on Twitter. Will, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well, thanks, Kevin. I'd also like to remind you, Josh, that you are a tight end, at least in the eyes of Madden. So
yes, true.
don't discount yourself there. You got some receiving skills apparently in the video game world.
I don't know where they got those stats from or those numbers, but hey, the more you can do, right? The more you can do. So I'll take
that
it.
was always our biggest conversation every time Madden came out. It was like, why do they keep having long snappers as tight ends with like a 40 grade? I felt so bad for you, man.
That's
all right. That's part of the gig.
Yeah, well, that was what was funny. I think it was in Madden 20. You had a grade of 47, and your number was 47. So that always confused me because I was like, wait. So that's also, it's insulting to long snappers to make you a 47. Just to be fair. But hey, what can we do? There's too many problems with Madden to get to in one episode. So
yeah, I don't know if we have enough time for all that.
Yeah, that's a really intense discussion. Maybe save it for later in the off season. But Josh, really excited to have you here. Obviously, I believe you are the third longest tenured player on the roster at this point. You've seen a lot. You've been through multiple coaching staffs, going into a third one now. So it's just, I'm definitely curious, some of the stories over the years. But, I guess my first question is, something, a lighter topic to start us off on. Have you been able to do anything fun this off season? I know everyone's been locked down and stuff like that, but have you had a chance to relax, do anything interesting this off season?
Yeah, we've been able to spend some time together as a family. I was able to take a trip with my wife a few weeks ago. We went up to North Carolina, up into the mountains, and so got to get away a little bit there. But we've got 3 little ones at home, so getting them to and from school, busy with a lot of activities there. We're going on spring break next week, so next week we'll get our beach trip in, and we'll get to spend some time down there and enjoy it.
That's great. Yeah, sounds good. I think my brother was just in Miami. Luckily, he arrived after the lockdown had ended, so it wasn't completely closed down. But yeah, hopefully you'll have better luck if you go next week down to that area of the country. So, yeah, guys, I definitely want to open up to the rest of you. If you have any questions for Josh, feel free to get those out there, and I will be checking the chat as well for other questions. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got one. Josh, I think you're in a really unique and interesting position, kind of being the bridge between two real fan favorites in Matt Bryant and Youngway. And I'm just curious if you've seen any maybe similarities in the way that they approach, their job, their roles, that has led them to be very successful for this team, and also maybe some differences that you've seen. I know both guys have very different personalities. Having talked
Sure.
to both of them, but what are the comparisons and maybe the contrast between those two guys?
Well, I'll start with the biggest contrast, and that would be that, to my knowledge, Youngway has always kicked with both cleats on, and Matt Bryant used to be a barefooted kicker back in his college days. So that could be one of the main differences for him there. But I do see a lot of similarities. And a lot of it comes in just their approach to the game, and the position that they have on the team, and the work ethic that they have to prepare themselves the best way that they know how. Not just during the off season, and fine tuning their skill and their craft, but during the season, and making sure that, in any given moment, whether it's in practice or in a game, that they're stepping up and they're ready to go whenever their number's called, and that's something that you got to want that moment. And that's something that both of them definitely exhibit, and something that I think is a very good trait to have at any position, but especially the kicker position.
Awesome,
Very
man.
cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give the rest of you guys an opportunity to get any questions in you have as well. So whoever would like to go next.
I got one.
Go ahead, Eric.
So, I just want you to touch a little bit on your high school background, because, of course, I'm pretty sure you didn't play long snapper your entire life. Of course, I'm sure you had other positions that you dabbled in and other aspirations. So give the fans a little bit of insight on, your high school prep career.
Yeah, I played 3 sports from the time I was 9 years old all the way through high school. So there was never really an off season. But for football specifically, snapping wasn't the only position that I played, during high school. And so
Right.
I did that on top of playing defense mainly. And so I played linebacker, played some defensive end. I was a running back earlier in my childhood days. There may or may not be some highlight tape of that, way down deep in the closet. But defense was my role. I enjoyed it. I loved everything about it. And, even now as a snapper, I still, it's a unique position because I get to go from playing offense to then immediately playing defense again. And so get to kind of, do the same things that I used to do in high school. But just the game of football is incredible. And, being able to play as many positions, play as many sports as possible, I think is huge. The whole idea of specializing, and just playing one position or one sport, I don't think works for everybody. And I'm just glad that I got the opportunity to experience a lot of different sports and a lot of different positions. And here I am now as, one of the most obscure positions on the team as a snapper, which everybody's got a crazy story, and that just happens to be mine.
So what you're telling me is that for almost 10 years, we've had an edge rusher just sitting on the bench.
Wow.
All
this time.
Just
Man.
waiting. There's been a really good picture from my high school days that used to float around some team meetings every now and then. Shoulder pads that were like 12 sizes too big. Wrists taped up. I'm just working an offensive tackle. Probably getting to a sack, or at least that's my story.
Yeah,
and I'm sticking to it.
I think Josh could have been good for at least a pass rushing specialist. At least. I think Quinn could have tires there a little bit. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah. I guess kind of on that note, that reminds me of a question I had, was that as, obviously playing long snapper, you're going to be active every game. Have you actually been cross-trained to play any positions as like an emergency backup for any of the other positions on the roster at any point during your time in Atlanta?
Yes and no. Not really in depth. I run down on kickoff,
Right.
coverage teams as part of the scout team, stand in anywhere I need to on scout teams for special teams, but I also play a little scout team tight end during walkthroughs. I've been a quarterback during linebacker drills. I've played a little linebacker in a 7-on-7 red zone situation before. So it kind of sprinkled in here and there, but hey, at the end of the day, my job's to snap the ball, and but I'm there to do and help in any way that I can. And listen, the more you can do, the better off you're going to be. So I'm happy to fill in wherever they need me.
Yeah.
I was going to say, should we read into the fact that you're listed as a linebacker on your Google profile? Like if you Google you're a linebacker like it's Dean Pease.
There you
got some
go.
plans for you.
You're
I was
blitzing from
wondering.
everywhere, Dave. You're blitzing from everywhere. Long snapper included. We're all linebackers in the Dean Pease defense.
I like it.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else had any questions they want to get in as well.
Josh,
Well, it's not a question.
Actually, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, Evan.
I
Yeah.
keep cutting people off. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
okay. It's okay,
I don't
Evan.
know
You
if
were
it's delayed or what.
I'm cutting you off.
No, I want you all to ask questions, but there was one thing
I don't know.
you're not sure. And he told me a funny story that I tried to get into words, but it just doesn't translate as well. Josh, if you don't mind, tell us a story about the team employee who had no idea who you were.
That sounds pretty
God,
good.
was it me?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a few of those stories, but I know which one you're talking about. So a few years ago, we were playing Seattle on a Monday night at Seattle, and we got back, I mean, at probably 6-7 o'clock, and the next morning, and we were going into the facility to get some tape review, film review, recovery type stuff after the game. And I was walking up the staircase to our special teams coach's office, and a guy that works in the IT department was coming down the stairs, and he looked at me and he goes, "Oh man, long night, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, it was." And then he goes, "Well, did you go to the game?" And I just kind of looked at him, and I said, "Yeah, I went. Yeah, late night. But hey, we're back in it now. So, hey, that's just part of the gig. That's part of the life of being the snapper. And there's a bunch of other stories similar to that I could tell as well. But that's a good one.
That's funny.
The disrespect, man. The
Yeah,
disrespect.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah. Okay. I believe Will had a question as well. So go ahead, Will.
Oh, well, I was just kind of just wondering, you've been with the team for such a long amount of time, and there have been some really good special teams players on this group. Like, who do you view as the best special teams players that you've played with over the years? Probably a lot of gunners like Eric Weems or the like that. But who are the guys that you've kind of had the most admiration for?
Yeah, I would start first my rookie year, Antone Smith, who also every time he touched the ball on offense, he scored. I mean, it was crazy. Every run he had was a 40-yard touchdown run. But to watch him and the grit that he played with was unbelievable. I mean, to run the way that he could, to make plays at any position on special teams was special. And then you mentioned Eric Weems. I mean, that guy was a legend in the special teams world, and I got a chance to play with him for a few years, and he was a personal protector on the punt team, so we got to work really closely together, and we had to be all on the same page with our protection calls and things like that. And he was a true pro. He knew his role, and he executed it better than a lot of people give him credit for. And Justin Bethel falls into that category as well. I mean, we had him on the team, just a few years ago, and just all those guys, just the amount of heart and the want to that it takes to play special teams. All those are just a few guys that I could talk about every teammate that I've had that's out there on special teams with us. But it takes a special type of guy to want to go out and do that type of dirty work. And I just have a tremendous amount of respect for everybody that goes out there and does the job that we're required to do. And, some have just been, stellar, just, above average, obviously, names and people that have done a great job for us. And I'm glad to have been able to call them a teammate.
Yeah. And I also have like kind of one follow up for that is, can you walk us through a little bit of the relationship and the conversations that like you and Sterling Hoffrichter have compared to like you and Matt Bosher? Like just the relationship, I guess, between a long snapper and a placeholder. Like what is that like? What do you guys work on throughout the week and going into a big kick or something?
Yeah, so a lot of that, especially this year with Sterling, or this past season, this was his first time holding, so that was a big deal, and it was important for us to be able to get on the same page and be able to have our operation down enough to where Koo could trust it, and really that's ultimately the main goal is everybody needs to be on the same page, and we all have to be able to trust each other, and that's something that you can really only get through repetition and practice. We can talk about it, but until you're actually out there catching snaps and throwing balls back there to him, that's where you're going to figure out where does he catch it? How far away from his body does he catch the ball? That's going to affect how far the ball's traveling, obviously, which is also going to affect how many times, how fast that ball is rotating. And so where he catches it, where the laces are, where he catches it, that's something that we all have to figure out and make sure that we can do that, consistently so that Koo doesn't have to kick laces and, he keeps booting them through. And that's for every holder. It was the same with Bosher or any of the other guys that we've had that have come in. And it's the same with Sterling as well. And it's something we'll continue to work on and rep and get as good as we can, get as good as we possibly can at it.
Damn, this process is so fascinating. I wish it was like talked about and more popular in sports. Like just the accuracy and the ability that you can do this, like strike after strike after strike. It's like a pitcher. I mean, like just the ability to have the command to do it. Like you can't mess up, frankly. Like you can't. And that's,
you're right.
I wish I got more respect.
Yeah, no, I agree. I laugh. I'm like, these a quarterback that has, X amount of, completion percentage or whatever, this guy made the, Pro Bowl this year with a kick, maybe a field goal percentage of 90%. I'm like, man, if I had a 90% completion percentage on my snaps, like I wouldn't have a job for very long,
But look at it this way. You're the league's best, like 7-yard passer.
Mm-hmm.
Upside
down. You got
down,
the highest completion
down,
rate in that category right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's one of the more interesting things, right? It's long snapper is a position that it's kind of like a catch-22 because it'd be nice if everyone knew who you were, but if everyone knows who you are, it probably means something bad happened, and that's just kind of the nature of the NFL, unfortunately. So,
exactly.
If you're doing your job, only the people that really pay attention might know who you are on a daily basis. And
very true.
It's kind of an interesting dichotomy of being anonymous, but it's for the right reasons, So
right. Yep.
Yeah, I guess one of the things I'm curious about is when you knew that long snapper was going to be your home. Was it once you got to Auburn, or was it even before that?
It was definitely when I got to Auburn, because it really wasn't even until I graduated high school that I realized snapping was something that could give me a chance at the next level. And growing up a huge Auburn fan, that was the only place I wanted to go, and I just showed up to the walk-on tryout the morning of the first day of classes in 2007, and halfway through that season, I got a call to come out to the team, and that was kind of the moment where I said, okay, well, now all I'm going to do is snap, and I would kind of ask them if I could do anything else, if they needed help doing stuff, and it was to a certain degree, like maybe not so much my first couple years, but it was no, you don't need to be doing that. We don't need to get you hurt running down on kickoff and us not have anybody to snap the ball or something like that. So, it wasn't until college where snapping was the only thing I did.
You to kill anybody. They didn't want you to kill anybody. That's what that was.
Yeah,
that's
really I've got some good tackles in my career. I've got some pictures hanging up that have some good, from some good tackles. So
the last thing they needed were you running downhill to Bobby Boucher someone.
Sometimes.
It reminds me of Morton Anderson, the Falcons kicker from like before Matt Bryant. He told me a story of he was in a position where he was the last line of defense for a kick return for a touchdown, and he, generously declined to make the tackle attempt on this, huge human being. Morten Andersen, not exactly the most storied tackler, and the coach got onto him and he said, "Coach, you don't pay me to do that." And the coach was like, took him aside and was like, "You're right, but like, just don't say that in front of the team again, okay?"
Right.
So it reminds me of that. But no, I mean, I think you've had
Josh, did you?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Well, did you and Malcolm, or not Malcolm, Kenyon, ever talk about that tackle that you had on him? Speaking of special teams tackles in Carolina.
So that was Bosch. But
It was Bosch. God damn it.
But
Sorry.
But I do.
You have a good story about that anyway?
I do, because when KB came on, and obviously he and Bosch were going back and forth about the play and the hit and all this, that, and the other. He's looking at me, and me and KB would go back and forth from our Auburn and Oregon national championship game against each other, where I tackled him, or I say I tackled him. I was in on a tackle. I'll put it that way. But when I told the story to him, I had to pull the picture up and show him where there was a picture of me tackling him in the championship game. So that's my KB story. But hey, that dude, he's one of the best. He's a great dude, and happy for him. He just won another Super Bowl. I think that's his third now. So he's balling.
Thank you for saving me on that.
I got
He
you.
should
I got
have
you.
just taken credit for it, been like, "Oh yeah, I remember when I
He
suplexed
should
that."
have. I was like, because I wrote a great tweet about the Bosher tackle. I was ready to just give it all to you, Josh. I was going to be like, man, that was the best tackle.
It was pretty great.
I wish
yeah.
I could, but I can't take the credit for that one.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, like you do. I think it's almost every year you've had tackles on special teams, so no one can accuse you of not trying to get a tackle here and there. So it's that linebacker background coming through. So
Yeah, right, that's exactly right.
yeah, I guess my next question is, you played with a lot of different team members and obviously several different coaching staffs now. Who were some of your favorite guys that you worked with, that you hung out with over the course of your time with the Falcons?
Oh goodness. Well, I mean, this is the easy answer is obviously all the specialists. I mean, we're kind of in our own world, I mean, even at practice, we're on our own field until it's our period, to come in and do our part. But so obviously Bosher and Bryant, obviously now Sterling and Koo, but everybody that has come through, whether it's been a guy that's been here for a couple weeks filling in for an injury, always just try to make time to introduce, obviously myself, my family, welcome them into the home if that works out. But I tell you what, we've had a lot of really great guys on the Falcons over the years, both coaches and players. Julio Jones has been one of the most, professional human beings I've ever been around in my life. And, what he does on the field each and every day, I think is only overshadowed by the type of person that he is off the field. And, that shows in just, how he interacts with everybody in the locker room and everybody in the building. And there's so many others that I really could say, but I'll just stop there and because I don't want to leave anybody out. I feel
right.
bad
Yeah.
right now. I don't.
Yeah. I don't think you have to worry about them watching the show. If I'm being honest,
well, you never know. You never know. So, it's cool though to now see some guys that are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. That were teammates or that I played against. And stuff like that. So that's really neat to be able to see that. And Tony Gonzalez being one of those guys, and just kind of neat to be able to say I've shared a locker room and a game day, with some of those guys that have made this game great long before I was here, and it's fun to be able to share in some of those moments with them.
You'll have a couple more in a few years.
No doubt.
More guys.
No doubt.
Go Jackets, definitely.
Yeah, I think so for sure. Yeah. You guys have any other questions for Josh?
Actually,
Just go ahead, Eric. You're good. You're good.
The answer is yes, Kevin.
Yes.
actually, I want to know, what was the recruiting process like for you coming out of high school? Who recruited you? Who offered you?
Short answer, nobody. I didn't have, I guess I had some letters from some schools for a walk-on position.
Right.
I was never offered any money or any type of scholarship to go play anywhere. I remember I got a letter from Birmingham Southern, and it was going to be their first year ever having a team. And I remember thinking like, well, that might be a cool opportunity. I might be able to actually play. But at the end of the day, I grew up, like I said, big Auburn fan. It's the only place I wanted to go, and I figured, what the heck, if I try out and they say no, then at least I know that I gave it a shot. I didn't want to look back, years later and wonder, what could have been, if I didn't at least show up that morning and snap a few balls to a coach. So it was really cool how it all worked out.
Are we sure Birmingham Southern is not like a school in downtown Birmingham? I've never heard that before in my life.
We are sure. I actually know somebody who played for Birmingham Southern. So
Okay.
Wow.
shout out Birmingham Southern, I guess.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Josh, I actually inadvertently, I think I watched a game of yours at Auburn. I was visiting a friend who ended up signing with Auburn to play offensive tackle, and I was there, and he kind of got me in as a recruit, which is a total joke because I should not have been recruited by Auburn. But got like the whole like end zone seat with your family, the wristband to get the food, and like go in the tunnel and everything during halftime. And that was the 2011 season. So I think you guys were playing some probably FCS school or whatever, but it was definitely a blowout victory. So inadvertently, before I met you, got to watch you play.
They're playing
War
Birmingham.
Eagle.
Probably.
We were
War
playing
Eagle.
Birmingham,
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
Yeah.
That's exactly who they were playing.
Yeah. All right, Dave, your turn now. I know you got something. So.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering what your first impressions of Marquise Williams are so far. Seems like a really cool guy. Interested to see as a first-time special teams coach how he's connecting early on.
Yeah, I've had a chance to meet with Marquise a few different times, and actually last year when we played Detroit, had a pretty lengthy conversation with him during pregame, which was kind of cool because when he came in and when he gave me a call to say that hey, that he was coming to Atlanta, he remembered that conversation that we had, and so it's kind of neat how that all works out. But he's had some experience with Koo as well, back with the Chargers a few years ago, and so he comes in. Obviously, Detroit had a really good special teams unit the last couple of years while he's been there, and so really looking forward to working with him and learning from him, and going out there and making a difference on special teams. It's a third of the game, and we're our job's to bring the juice, affect field position, and put points on the board, create turnovers, all the above. And that's what I think he's going to bring, and bring a good attitude to come in and be ready to go out there and play.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see, if anything is different. When you have a new staff in, obviously things are going to change. It's kind of hard to quantify beforehand, but it's very exciting. And yeah, it seems like they have a very good mix of. They have a very experienced guy in Hoffman, and then they have a younger guy, Marquise Williams, who's kind of like, a rising star. So I think they have a great mix. I'm excited to see how you guys do this year with this new coaching staff, which obviously fans are very excited about. So, all right. I did have an interesting question I promised I would ask from Kells Creates, one of our longtime viewers. He wants to know if you're an anime fan, Josh.
No, unless Family Guy counts. I like Family Guy.
Yeah, it probably doesn't count. I assume he means like Japanese, but yeah,
right.
But yeah. So there you go, Kels. Now you know for sure. It was his burning question, I guess. So
is that a burning question for everybody though? Like I want to see everybody come on and get asked that.
Maybe we should just now, just so we have like a log of who does and doesn't like anime on the team.
We need a spreadsheet. Yeah, we got to get that set up.
Yeah, Evan, get on that, please. Yeah. No, but yeah, I know. a lot of fans are very appreciative of you coming on because people don't think long snapper often, but I think it's like Will had said, it's a very unique perspective on the team, very unique interactions, very unique things that the long snapper does, with the holder and the kicker that the normal fan doesn't get to see much of that, except the final end result on game day. And it's fascinating to hear you talk about that. So we do appreciate that. All right. Yeah. So anybody else have questions for Josh tonight?
I've got kind of like a more off, not football oriented, but more just like in the facility. A, do you have a go-to meal for lunch? And B, what was the best lunch table that you ever saw throughout your career with the Falcons? Just like that, I want to be at that lunch table. They have the best conversations.
Goodness. I don't really have a go-to meal. I mix it up, like to keep the body guessing a little bit, but
Okay, I got you. Hit up the salad bar every once in a while.
You got to go with the O-line. I mean, the conversations that those guys have, I mean, that's you got to get in on those. And so those lunch tables were probably the best. And I guess I'm kind of an offensive lineman. I mean, a little bit. So there's a little bit of a gray area there. So I would find myself at that table from time to time, and always enjoyed my time with those guys.
Caleb and Gary just talking about Skyrim 24/7.
I
have one that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Evan.
Oh no, I didn't mean to cut him off. I think mine's delayed or something. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I was just joking, saying usually my conversations with Caleb have been around hunting. So I've been able to take him out hunting a few times, and so we enjoy that, and so it's something we got in common.
Nice.
Very cool. Yeah, go ahead, Evan.
I don't know if you're allowed to answer this. I guess you are, but did you have like thoughts on there being an extra game now?
Yeah, I mean, last year with the negotiation of the CBA, that 17th game was something that was brought up and able to put into play. Obviously, the owners just did that recently, and yeah, it is an extra game, but my thoughts on it are what are the players receiving in return for that 17th game, and for me, the benefits of that we were receiving as a league, league wide. From that includes the practice squad guys all the way through to the highest earners in the league. Everybody was going to be seeing increases in benefits and in pay. For the most part, for agreeing to play that 17th game, and you lose a preseason game. So I guess you could also ask most people that would they rather get a regular season game check or a preseason game check? They'd probably go for the regular season game check as well. But there's a whole lot of other details that we could dive into on that. But I don't know if you guys want to go into the weeds on some of those issues or not. But I'm looking forward to it. I think we have the Jags. Is that who we're supposed to play? Yeah. So that'll be interesting. We'll have to get used to a different number for our records, and things like that. But hey, we're growing the game. It's getting bigger, and as a result, obviously, you see the TV deals that were just signed, and that's only going to increase future salary caps and benefits for players even more, which I'm all for.
Josh, you've been the Falcons NFLPA representative over the years. Can you kind of take us behind the curtains of what that's like what these discussions, conversations, meetings, and everything, like what do they entail?
Yeah, I took over for Matt Bryant a few years ago, and I joked with him. I'm like, man, while you were the rep, nothing was really going on. I said, and as soon as I take over, it's like drinking through a fire hose. I got a new CBA that's on the table. We got a global pandemic. I'm like, my goodness, talk about getting thrown to the fire. But yeah, it's really interesting. Each team has a rep, and basically your job is to be the voice of your locker room. So any issues that come up that need voting on, or they're just looking for feedback from guys, My job is to, along with some of the other alternates, is to try to gather as much information as possible, try to, provide as much information to guys that are asking questions as well, and, try to make the best decision as a group, as a whole. And that's typically how it works. I mean, we'll have calls periodically. We've had more in the last, few months than, we probably normally would have, but that's just part of the business. And it's really interesting to see, that side of football, right? The business of football, and how that works between the player and owner relationship. And it's been, I've really enjoyed getting to learn more about that and getting to serve my team.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No, for sure. That
Yeah.
makes 100% sense.
Yeah, well, welcome in Adnan Ikic as well at Say Which Way on Twitter. Adnan, we are mid-interview with Josh Harris, so I didn't know if now that you're here, if you had any questions you'd like to ask Josh.
Oh, sorry for popping right in on that.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
Before you ask Josh, you got to forgive him. I know he looked a little special getting on with the Twizzler.
Hey, I'm not tolerating Twizzler slander. First, Josh, thanks so much for joining us. I want to know who the most fun person is in the locker room.
The most fun?
I know, very subjective question.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like college, right, where everybody's at the same age and everybody's at the same place of life, right? I mean, you got guys that don't have kids, that have a bunch of kids, and it's hard to figure out exactly who's the most fun. But it's probably got to be, once again, probably an offensive lineman. If I had to guess, that would probably be one of them, because, hey, they like to have the most fun, I think, and they usually have some good stories to tell, which is why their lunch table is one of the best ones to sit at sometimes.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I love the big guys.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
Josh,
go ahead. Yeah.
Josh, how long have you guys been playing the It's Friday song on Fridays? How long has that been going on?
I mean, at least since 2012. At least. I mean, I think
we can assume forever. Since the Falcons were formed, they've been playing It's Friday on.
I mean, and it's a tradition. Listen, I'm a big golfer. I love the Masters, but a tradition unlike any other is Friday. Being played in the locker room on Fridays. That's how it works.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. It's been about 40 minutes of us grilling Josh Harris. So if you guys have any final questions in the chat, get those in there. We'll start the mock draft soon as well. But yeah, obviously the rest of you guys, if you have any final questions there for Josh, go ahead and get those out there.
Yeah, I guess I'd just ask, are you hoping to pull a Tom Brady? Are you hoping to play till 45, or do you have any idea on that? Or
I will play as long as they have me. As long as they have me. Body feels great, and my family is in a great spot to be able to help me through anything that life can throw at me. I'm so thankful to have my wife Cameron back home to be able to take care of our 3 little ones and allow me to train and do the things necessary to keep my body right and ready to go each season. So I'm just, hey, next one is going to be the best one, and that's the attitude I got.
Very cool. Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, it's not the most. You're not necessarily, getting tackled 10 times a game or 20 times a game or anything like that. So I think it is certainly possible for long snappers to play for a long time. So we certainly would like to have you stick around as long as possible because reliable long snapping, as we said, you don't realize you need it until it's a problem. So
especially for someone that was actually born in Georgia and raised in Georgia. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that's huge for him as well, being able to play for the Falcons that long in his home state. So
yeah.
Josh, I am curious though, when you go through a regime change as you've done, a couple times, what's the thought process like as a player? What are those conversations with the new coach or the new GM when they come in and they reach out to you, or do they reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, most coaches will reach out to you, just to introduce themselves, say hello. But one thing I've noticed is, most coaches, they can see better than they can hear. So no matter what type of conversation you have with new coaches, all that really matters is them, seeing that you're going to be a professional, that you're going to be a pro, that you're going to train, do the things required, that are necessary to do your job at a high level. And so, obviously the communication standpoint is great, but my personal, I guess, approach to it is just to show them the type of worker, and type of athlete and the type of teammate that I am. And, you can really only do that through putting it into action, and so that's what I try to do is just be myself and train like I normally would, and, try to prove it to them because, they say the NFL is not for long. I mean, it's, one of those things that, each and every day is kind of its own interview. I mean, you got to do well today so they can bring you back tomorrow. And, that's the mentality that I keep. And so trying to just be the best version of myself each and every season and be the best teammate that I can be along the way is, usually goes a good ways.
Yeah, man, you've absolutely crushed it in all aspects so far. So congrats on that. And again, nothing but the best moving forward.
Thank you.
I have a question. Oh, I didn't mean to cut on and off. I keep cutting people
You should
off.
just go,
I
Evan. You should just go. Yeah.
I know.
Steamroll.
I'm trying to raise my hand, but
It wasn't a question. I was just going to make a comment about what a thankless job long snapper is. Like Kevin mentioned, you never mention it unless something goes wrong. And for the Falcons, because of the work you've done, Josh, we never mention it. We haven't mentioned it for like the past decade of, that's such a terrible snap it went over the head of the punter. Like I don't recall anything like that. So yeah, you've definitely done a fantastic job.
Well, we all got to knock on wood now. I mean, my
Right,
goodness,
yeah.
great job.
Great job, Adnan. Yeah.
I'm gonna get
I
many
appreciate
Twitter comments. I'm gonna get so many
The
Twitter
first
ads.
time it happens. Yeah. We're all blaming Adnan as long as we're in agreement. Yeah.
One question I got, speaking with you, you were telling me about how obviously you're from Georgia, but you were a Falcons fan. Did you have any favorite players like growing up and stuff?
Oh, you know what? I guess he was kind of a Falcons player. So I
It
had
could be just NFL players in general.
Right, yeah. So I had two jerseys as a kid. Still to this day, the only two jerseys outside of mine that I've ever had were Terrell Davis and Brett Favre. And those guys, I know two different positions, but I wanted to be Terrell. Every time I touched the ball as a youth football player, like I wanted to be Terrell Davis, mile high saluting, scoring touchdowns. And then obviously Brett Favre, being the quarterback that he was, the gunslinger, a lot of fun to watch. And, those are some of my earliest NFL memories. I believe they had a Super Bowl back in the day where I think they played each other. And so those are my guys. Those were my biggest, probably the guys that I pulled for the most that I can remember at a young age.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So Virograph 56 needs to know what's your hype song.
Ooh, anything, I mean, it really depends on the mood that I'm in that day, but I mean, if we're before a game or like a workout or whatever, it's got to be some type of old Jeezy. I love Jeezy. He gets it go. I mean, he's been the soundtrack to workouts and hard training my entire life. So that's got to be. He would have to be on there at some point. That's that I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I will accept that as your hype song. Thank you. Yeah.
Josh, who drives the nicest car?
Oh,
that's such a big thing in the parking lot. There's so many nice cars.
Well, we can just go on Spo Track and I can let you know.
But it's different. There's different levels of like what you consider nice. Like, is it like a luxury car, or is it a sports car, or is it like the G-Wagon, as everybody has?
There's a lot of G-Wagons for sure. A lot of G-Wagons out there. I'm a truck guy, so I don't really know about like exactly what the nicest stuff is right now, but you know, our punter just got a new Tesla. It's pretty nice. You know, it can drive itself.
Hey.
You know, it's you know, we
Did
give him
you
a hard
did you
time
really
about
like
it, but
Keanu's truck, the Shelby?
yeah, the Shelby
Yeah.
truck. I mean, that was when he got that. That was the first time I had ever seen one of those. I didn't even know they made those. So that was that was pretty cool.
It was aggressively big. Is
It
how
was.
I would describe
Well,
it.
you got. I don't know if you remember Croy Bierman's truck that he had years ago. It was probably 3 times the size of Keanu's. It was massive. I don't know how he
That
drove
fits
it around
Croy
town.
Bierman though. Keanu Neal was a little bit of a dark horse pick for a giant pickup truck.
Yeah. Yeah, Croy not so
yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think my main takeaway is that Sterling Hoffrichter drives a Tesla.
Yeah. Very eco-conscious,
Does-
Sterling Hoffrichter. He's from Syracuse,
Yeah, we're
so I'm
gonna
not
have to-
surprised. There's a lot of Teslas
Well,
up
we-
here. So
We're gonna have to
and
work up a nickname for him based on that. We'll spend some time on that.
Well, you know, I told him, you know, me and Koo were telling him that, you know, he still owes us a rookie dinner. So the only way that we can do it is if he gets to take us, you know, all in the Tesla, you know, and maybe show us how it works. So we'll see.
yeah.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
I like
think,
that.
I think
So-
that's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Any final questions before we transition to the mock draft?
I think we're good.
Okay, we good. There was a very exhaustive questioning, and you passed with flying colors, Josh. So thank you for putting up with all of our questions. Thank you for answering the chat's questions as well. All right, guys. Well, before we go to the mock draft, got to do my traditional stuff of asking you to, if you are enjoying the show, please like and subscribe. We appreciate those metrics, so thank you guys for doing that. If you're interested in supporting the show on a monthly basis, you can check us out on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Falcoholic Live. We'll be doing our next patron Q&A session next Tuesday, the 6th of April. It's going to be at 8:10 p.m. Eastern, so our usual time. Those are a lot of fun. So if you're interested in getting in on that patron Q&A, you still got plenty of time to sign up. Just make sure a patron before Tuesday so you can get the link to that. And yeah, make sure to follow everyone on Twitter, including Josh Harris, who is at AUJ Harris on the twitter.com. All right, so let's get into some draft takes. I know everyone is very excited about it. Obviously, there was a lot that happened. And before we get to that, though, I do want to give Josh a chance to exit because I don't want to necessarily subject him to 7 rounds of intense draft discussion. So, Josh,
It took 20 minutes to decide the 7th round pick.
it
last
did,
time.
yeah. That's pretty brutal. So I don't know that we need to force you into that. So yeah, Josh, we obviously really appreciate you coming on. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to plug before you take off?
Well, first, just, hey, thank you guys for having me on. It's good chatting with you. Hopefully we'll be able to see you guys around a little more this season. Hopefully COVID will allow some, you know, more people in the stands, more people around and stuff like that. So we'll get that going. But yeah, you know, if you're looking for any charities to that you want to donate to, I'd recommend the Lutzy 43 Foundation. That's the foundation that I've represented through My Cause, My Cleats the last couple of years. And then also Chase the Victory Foundation in Carrollton, Georgia. Chase McDaniel was a high school football player for the Trojans who passed away a couple years ago, and the foundation was set up to help his family and other cancer patients as well. So those are two great charities that mean a lot to me. And if you're feeling like it, you know, feel free to donate to those guys.
Hey, Josh, can I just say thank you for bringing up the Lutzy Foundation? He actually went to a high school just right down the road from mine, and I played against him in high school. He played the same position I did, tight end, and I just remember our kind of like scouting report was, hey, look out for Phil. Like he's the best player they have. He's going to crush it. I know his sister. So thank you so much. And again, everybody, please, you know, donate to that foundation. It does amazing work.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. Have a great night, man. Thanks again for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
All right, well, there he was, guys. The man, the myth, the long snapping legend, Josh Harris. So don't say we never do anything nice for you. I know no one was saying that, but just in case you were thinking it. But yes, mock draft season is upon us. Obviously, a ton of stuff happened this week with the 49ers trading up to 3, the Dolphins moving back to 12, then within 20 minutes moving back up to 6 with the Eagles. So now the Eagles are at 12, so the mock draft landscape obviously very different. So it's going to be our first mock for both the site and Falcoholic Live since all of these crazy trades have gone down. So I'm excited to get to that. I know you guys have plenty of takes. I know there are going to be lots of arguments. I see George has arrived, so I'm sure the
How many
Kyle
drinks
Pitts-
being drank right now?
Yes.
We're
Well,
all
yeah.
hydrating for this momentous occasion.
Exactly.
And I
I
was
need
just gonna
another
ask
beer.
if my guy George is
Yeah.
watching. I wonder who he wants with the 4th pick.
Well, I figured as soon as he saw that 4-4-4 from Kyle Pitts, he just started swag walking just wherever he was. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm so right." So you know.
I'm not gonna lie, George, you've been on my mind a lot the past couple of weeks, just because watching all of this with Kyle Pitts. I'm thinking, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be for it. I wouldn't be like, go get Kyle Pitts at 4. But if we took Kyle Pitts at 4, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all kind of warmed up to it. I think George definitely contributed to, me being like, okay, like maybe I should take this a little bit more seriously. I did finally actually go back and watch more than like highlights of Kyle Pitts. And like, yes, George, you were absolutely right. Kyle Pitts is, a tremendous talent. And I think really what has kind of made the difference is when you really consider the tight end and the value in Arthur Smith's offense. I think that's really, to me, what made it more likely is because we know how much Arthur Smith respects the tight end position, how big of a deal it is to him. He was the most 12, like the third most 13 personnel, and the highest percentage of tight end targets in the NFL last year with Jonnu Smith, obviously, but his number 2 tight end, was a bunch of different guys. So yeah, Ferkser.
He's also great in the red zone.
Yeah.
So tight
yeah,
ends dominate them there.
It does help that because of George, we've covered Kyle Pitts more than any other show on the internet the past month. But yeah, he is, in my opinion, the best tight end prospect I've ever seen coming out of college.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He started as a bit and then kind of became a movement. And I think that the fact that the Falcons have been publicly this, like it came out today, 2 meetings, we're at his pro day, have another meeting scheduled. I almost take that as kind of concrete evidence that they are not going Kyle Pitts at 4. No team ever does this. That there's never, like, unless you're the number 1 pick. Most teams aren't like publicly linked to the guy that they're taking. Remember the Dolphins did that whole like Justin Herbert, Tua, like, are they really into Justin Herbert more than Tua? Like all that, like they do smoke screens this time of year. And if the Falcons are looking maybe to shop the number 4 pick, they should be invested in as many prospects as possible to get as many suitors as possible, thinking they will take the guy that they like at number 4. So I almost think that they're maybe smoke screening a little bit, even though I would love Pitts at 4.
I would agree, but outside of Trevor Lawrence, they've been linked to just about everybody at that pick.
Yeah, and that's the point, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it would be easier to truly dissect if they didn't have a head coach that was a former tight ends coach that also heavily featured tight ends in his offense the past 2 years. Like you could easily look at it and say, okay, yeah, that's probably a smoke screen pick. But that dynamic, looking at it now, and then you look at the aspect, and I know we don't like to put a whole lot of convention into showing up for pro days, but the fact that the head coach was at his pro day today was another thing to look at and say, all right, it probably is getting a little serious at the very least.
Yeah. Also, we have no idea how Fontenot and Smith are going to handle it moving forward. We've never seen these guys in action running their own team. So, maybe they know maybe they can read the tea leaves that, it's going to be quarterback first 3 picks. And I think that's fair to say. And they're like, you know what? Let's scout the hell out of Kyle Pitts, and who cares if other teams know we're doing it.
Yeah.
What's going to be interesting is like and the Falcons have said this over the years, is that it's a partnership between head coach and GM, and they said that again this offseason during this hiring cycle was, if you're having to have the conversations about who stays, who goes, then like you've already not done a good enough job. You need to do a better job before you get to that point where it's like, I have more power than you do. Here's who's staying, here's who's going. But those conversations naturally do happen. And I think that this draft will really tell us what the kind of power structure is in this new organization. If they do truly go best player available, which is what a GM would want, because the GM just wants the most talented roster possible. The coach is the one that has to implement it on Sundays.
Right.
So the coach is always going to want need. He's going to say, we need to plug this hole because I can't win with this hole in our ship. But the GM is just like, if this player turns into a star, it means I'm good at drafting. So we're going to figure this out in April and May. But like, that's the most fascinating part, because we're all sitting here kind of like struggling for content a little bit. And it's because we just don't know how this power structure works. But it's fat. Like, every option's on the table. And for that reason, it's really fun.
At the very least, you can say that they're having plenty of healthy discussions as far as which direction to go. Because
and I don't think they necessarily know where they want to go right now.
Either. No, I don't think they know. I don't think they may not even truly know until probably the night before the draft, to be quite honest with you. I mean, that's how a lot of teams drafting this high really don't know where to go. I'm such a draft nerd. I was watching the 98 NFL draft the other day. And
you are a draft nerd.
Officially, yeah.
Bill Polian came on and said that they didn't know they were going to take Peyton Manning until the evening before the draft. So it's just like teams are really going back and forth on this. But like you mentioned, Will, I think the interesting part about it is the fact that we know the Falcons can go in so many different ways. And outside of maybe a few prospects, I don't think any of us can say that's the wrong direction to go. If they were to stay put and go Pitts or Lance or Fields or even Chase, Sewell, I think we all can look at those 5 picks and say, okay, I get why they went in that direction.
Yeah. What's so much fun though about this conversation is it's the exact inverse of what we've been having kind of over the years, where we had a GM with a track record that we could look at and say, okay, he does do based on needs. He does tend to like these players. He has a hit and miss record of X on this position, but they were always drafting in the 20s.
Right.
Now we're in the top 5. We know who the prospects are. Mm-hmm. It's this guy's going to be there. This guy's going to be there. All these guys are going to be there. Who are they picking? We just don't know because we don't know this GM, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I was starting to get really good at predicting the Falcons picks, like especially those kind of day 3, like early guys. Like I called the Kaminsky pick, which was, special time for me, but that was the only one so far. But like
I called the Deidre Sanat pick.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, see, they were getting kind of predictable. Like they had a type. They always kind of went after this type, and it was, big ends and, like guys that are freak athletes late in the draft.
That's why the AJ Terrell pick wasn't much of a shock to us as it was.
Yeah.
We knew how they like particular corner prospects, and we knew that they kind of go against the grain when it comes to drafting certain guys. Like, they probably wanted a corner, but it's not the corner you probably think it is. It's probably someone else. And that's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, they have a habit of taking the guys I mock in the first round. I mocked Chris Lindstrom in the second. They took Chris Lindstrom in the first. I mocked Keanu Neal in the second. They took Keanu Neal in the first. And then AJ Terrell I mocked in the second multiple times, and they also took him in the first. So, like, maybe just whoever I mocked him in the second is actually going to be their pick. Maybe that's what I should start doing. But None of those moves have been bad, so maybe I was the one that was too low on those players.
I was gonna say,
yeah. So maybe I'm the idiot, but but yeah. Do you want to get to George's tip? You know who he is. You know why he's here. He's here to talk about Kyle Pitts. He says Kyle Pitts is the best choice. I feel he makes us contenders. He's a red zone monster. He could have 15 touchdowns. I believe Ryan has 3 good years left at least. I don't. No reason to take a quarterback when I think we can win now. So for me, it's Pitts or Surtain. Yeah, and I think Surtain is a dark horse. I think if it is Surtain, it'll probably be after a trade down. But they were out in force at Alabama's first pro day. And they weren't there to scout Mac Jones. I'll tell you that. So, I think they were probably taking a look at
You
Surtain.
don't know that, Kevin.
I do know that. Okay.
That Mac Jones hype train has left the station, apparently.
It has. Yeah.
guys, Mac
So-
Jones is going to be picked way before the Falcons select. So
Yeah,
it's
don't worry
a moot
about it.
point at this.
Exactly.
At this
Yeah, Kyle
juncture.
Shanahan undercut us for Mac Jones.
He swooped in to take Matt Jones in front of the Falcons. So
He bought
When you-
high.
exactly. Whenever you can give up 3 first-round pick for Matt Jones, you just have to do it. So
I feel like that's the Achilles heel for a guy like Shanahan, and we don't even know that's going to be the pick, but like him and McVay, it always seemed the same way to me. It's like, I want this guy because he's going to do what I tell him to do, and I know he can do it, and it's like maybe a little bit less about the raw talent than how I can mold you,
I
feel
think
like,
that's a wonderful point, Dave.
yeah.
Like absolutely, right
Yes.
on. They like to be known as we transformed Matt Ryan into an MVP candidate.
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Teams love to galaxy brain their draft picks. This is common knowledge. I mean, just look at Mitchell Trubisky.
Well, it's a results business. It's a results business. If you can put a badge on your lapel, you do it, and then you tell people that you did it, because that's how you get another job. And that's kind of the hidden truth behind everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right, guys.
Yeah,
Well, let's
absolutely.
transition into some mock drafting. So I've got the mock draft machine ready to go here. It better pick 3 straight quarterbacks. Like 90% of the time, it does take 3 straight quarterbacks.
I hate when that happens.
But it does inject, they said, their algorithm does try to inject complete randomness, because the draft is random, and I think we all expect mocks to just go crazy. But we're gonna if it doesn't get 3 quarterbacks before 4, we're gonna rerun this simulation, because I think the chances of a quarterback not going 1, 2, and 3 are probably in the single digits. So we will I'll start it up here. We'll see who the first 3 picks are, and then we will go from there.
If it's Kamal Ishmael 3 times, we're winning.
Kamal Ishmael 2, Kamal Ishmael the 3rd.
is
We're
that how
pulling it
those
all in.
families would name their children?
It's
Kamal
worth
Ishmael
debating. We
2.
can stretch this out. Yeah.
Okay. So we do have 3 quarterbacks going off the board. So Trevor Lawrence went first overall to the Jaguars, not a surprise. Zach Wilson to the Jets at 2, not a surprise. And then the 49ers do not take Mac Jones. They take Trey Lance at 3, which I view as not as likely as Fields, but I don't think it's anywhere near as outlandish as Mac Jones.
Does Draft Network offer trades? Do they show you trade offers?
And also, can you not just input selections?
Yes, you can manually do trades. Teams will sometimes call you with trades. Sometimes they decide to do it all the time, and it gets annoying.
I know
but-
PFF does. PFF offers you.
Yes. So sometimes they will call and offer you. Sometimes they won't, but you can always manually set up any trades you want. So that means that for the Falcons, the options remaining: Justin Fields, obviously at quarterback; Kyle Pitts, tight end; Jamar Chase, wide receiver; Penei Sewell, offensive tackle; and I guess maybe Patrick Surtain is another defensive player you would consider. But the question is, do we think Fields is worth 4th, and we just want to take him? Do we want to consider trade downs for this mock draft, because it might be spicier? We don't have to make this the most accurate mock draft. We could try to be really spicy if you want.
I'll
But
tell you this: on draft night, I guarantee you they're going to use up the entire 15 minutes.
oh yeah.
They're
Well,
not.
yes, 100%. Or maybe they won't because now I'm not covering that event, and they'll just pick immediately and make that person's life easier. But
yeah.
I think Fields is my choice still right now.
I mean, I think if this was the real draft, they would take Fields without hesitation.
Yeah,
but
if it's the
Fields.
real draft,
I mean,
it's Justin Fields.
I think that's the direction they're going to go. I think all of us feel that they should trade down, but of course that's not a guarantee. But if they're stuck at 4 and they have to choose between this, I think quarterback is going to be the choice.
Right. So we could decide that we want to be spicy, and we could say, like, yes, we all think the most likely pick here in this scenario would be Fields. But if you want to try to do trades because you want to get spicy for the live mock, that's also fine with me.
Yes.
Let's take it to jalapeno lime and take a couple offers.
Yes. So for those keeping track, realistically, I think we all think the pick here would be Justin Fields, right?
Yes.
Does anybody dissent from that?
No, that should be the move.
Yeah. As much as I really like Kyle Pitts, and the team could very well decide that like they do want Kyle Pitts, and like I don't think that's outlandish, but I do think the most likely scenario in this mock would be Fields, because Fields to me is the second best quarterback in the draft. So getting him as the fourth quarterback is kind of a steal at this point.
Well, it's sometimes
say-
you're shopping for a house, sometimes you're shopping for a car.
Yep.
You got to the viewers have to realize as well, man. This is a rookie GM, rookie head coach, and we've said it plenty of times here on the show. They're not tied to Matt Ryan long term.
Right.
You know, Fontenot stated this offseason he didn't necessarily want it to even touch Matt Ryan's contract as far as restructuring, but he had to. So that, I mean, to me, that I look at it as, you know, they're looking to see what they can get out of Matt Ryan for maybe a year or two before they're ready to move on, and they may want to, you know, take advantage of sitting in the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I will say that no matter what the pick is, it's going to ignite a civil war on Falcons Twitter.
No matter
It doesn't
what.
matter what
No
direction
matter
they go.
what. Yeah.
No matter what.
No matter what. Yeah.
Well,
So,
Todd Gurley's touchdown against Detroit sparked a civil war. I mean, me, for one, I was pro touchdown, but so many people didn't like that decision. I didn't understand it. What
I
doesn't?
like what it did for our draft pick overall.
I
We'd
did.
be picking 9th right now.
Todd
if
Gurley
we
was a
didn't do
hero
that.
for that. Yeah, Todd Gurley really had the team's best interest
Decision
at
a
heart.
lot worse.
Hashtag Todd Gurley momentum.
It made the decision a lot worse when he was told beforehand, like, bro, don't score.
What do you mean? Look, Todd Gurley's just a red zone weapon, okay? Once you get him into the red zone, he can't just not score, okay? That's just not
I will
possible.
also say Todd Gurley, I think, had some incentives for touchdowns in his contract too.
He did. I don't blame them.
All right, no, we're not slandering Todd Gurley. That was not my intention. Todd Gurley, you're a very good player and good at getting into the end zone.
No, I'm not slandering Todd Gurley. I'm saying I would have done the same thing. Like, nobody's messing with my money.
So in this scenario, I think if they trade down, I will love to stay in the top 10.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think
It's about where you trade down.
Yeah, I think last time we traded down with the Broncos to 9. I think a dark horse team that could be looking to get up into 4 that no one's talking about is the Lions. Because everyone just assumes because they have Goff now that they're fine at quarterback. And I don't think they have any loyalty to Goff whatsoever. I think that was just part of the deal, and they wanted to have someone just in case. But that would be
That's
a
such
smaller.
big cap hit, though.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Right, but it's no different than the Falcons taking Justin Fields right here and then having to get rid of Matt Ryan like next year. So like, you know, I don't think, for the same reason, I don't think that Ryan's big cap hit is going to dissuade the Falcons from taking a quarterback. I don't think the Lions would either, but that's one option. That would be to 7. So that would be a smaller trade down. They probably would still have their choice of guys like, you know, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts. Probably one of those guys would still be on the board. Plus, obviously, guys like Surtain and Micah Parsons and whatnot. So that would be probably the smallest trade down they could do. Obviously, we're not considering the Panthers. We talked about the Broncos.
What do you think about the Steelers, which would be probably the biggest move that
would
they
be
would do?
huge. That would be like a gigantic haul.
They're at what?
Exactly.
24?
Yeah. Like that's moving back 20 spots.
Yeah,
But
I
the
just don't.
haul would again have to be huge. But
Yeah.
that's probably
Yeah,
the
it would.
last spot in the draft that they could move.
That's
to.
probably the
It
lowest
would-
they could go.
My thing with the
It-
Steelers and a team like that is if you're picking up future first, which is one of the reasons I find the Broncos appealing, like you expect the Steelers to be contenders. That pick is less valuable. It's probably in the 20s again next year, potentially, like if you're picking up
Yeah.
another first.
Right.
So that's why I find like the idea of trading down with Denver so attractive. Like if you can go without, Pitts or a quarterback, Denver could very well pick in the top 10 again next year. And another top 10 pick would be great. So that's to me, that's part of the calculus too. Like if you're gonna move down with a team, let try to think ahead to the value they can provide you a year from now too.
I don't know, Dave. I kind of feel like Denver is in position to make some noise next year.
Well,
I think they've had a really good offseason.
from this.
I think they had a good offseason. I just don't trust Denver. I don't. I think whoever they draft is automatically an Elway special. He's not even making decisions there anymore. I just don't believe.
Well, from this aspect, if you trade with Denver, you can at least stay in the top half of the rounds in each. If you pick up an
Right.
extra second in the third, you can still stay relatively high compared to Pittsburgh, where you're drafting later in the rounds.
At Pittsburgh, you'd need like a full Godfather offer. Like their GM would have to set it up to where he kills our horses and we wake up in like the same bed as them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a horse head for each first round pick, and you get like
Right,
five
right.
of them.
Pretty unprecedented for them too, right? That
Yeah,
trade.
I mean the Patriots probably the other one that's
I think the
likely
Patriots are legitimate possible.
15.
I do as well.
So do we want to try to see what we can get from the Patriots and then go from there?
I say Denver. I say Denver first.
We did Denver last time though.
You did?
That's the only reason I don't want to do
Yeah.
Denver. I agree that Denver's probably the most likely. Like I agree.
We
that
don't have
Denver's
to go.
the most
We don't have to
Are-
go
are
like
we-
ghost pepper spicy. Like I said, jalapeno lime. Let's keep it. Let's keep it in
The
line.
offer starts at what San Francisco gave to Miami.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna look at the
So
Patriots.
are we out on Justin Fields?
Well, I think we all said in reality they're probably gonna take Justin Fields.
I'm sure he'll be
But-
there at
Dave
nine.
said get spicy.
We're trying to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
up to jalapeno lime spiciness. Yeah. So.
Gotcha.
Last time he was still there at 9.
Yeah, well, it could happen, right? Maybe the Patriots want Patrick Surtain. No, the Patriots want Mac Jones at 4, so anything is possible.
God, everyone
right.
just loves Mac Jones nowadays.
They do. All right, so no, I honestly do think they're going to take Mac Jones at 4 based on how the simulator works, because usually when the Patriots trade up in this, they do take Mac Jones, but
If Kyle Pitts is on the board, regardless of who else is on the board at 9, is he y'all's pick?
oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, at 7 too, I would probably say the same thing. Like if
Yes.
they were
Is that
at
a
7.
value thing, or is that like a talent thing, or is that like
it's-
our brains being programmed to be like, well, you can't take tight end in the top 5, so
I
you
mean-
got to take one at
I think it's a
10.
value because I think in all likelihood, by the time 9 rolls around, the top 4 quarterbacks are gone.
Right.
So at least you're getting a top 5 talent, and you're getting me at 9 in my opinion. I will hop all on that at that point. It Pitts.
Who
And-
would
and
you
you-
rather, Eric, Jamar or Kyle?
Jesus Christ, man.
And anybody else?
I mean, we got a head coach who makes like cartoon eyeballs and awooga noises at tight end. So like, I'd like to have Pitts myself.
I would like to have Pitts because I think Pitts offers a lot more matchup issues for defenses than Jamar.
Yeah,
Chase.
I agree.
Chase is the best receiver in the draft, absolutely. Julio's getting long in the tooth. He's not going to be here that long. So it's a possibility, but just the fact that you can move Pitts all over the line of scrimmage, man. He's everywhere. So I think he'll be the pick there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also if we take Jamar Chase, then AJ Terrell will have to fist fight him on the spot when they show up to training camp.
All right, so this is the offer I think we can get from the Patriots 100%. It would be 15, 46, which is their second, 96 their third, then next year's first and second.
No, you're not getting that.
Yeah, I mean probably not the second.
No,
but we-
you're not. I don't think getting I think you're getting a third next year, maybe.
I was going to say fourth. You're getting a
Yeah.
fourth.
Um,
Next year.
the public tends to super overrate draft trades.
Yeah.
It's like a well-known thing kind of within the league that it's like, oh, you really think you're going to get like 2 first rounders for Matt Ryan? It's like, no, you're probably getting this.
Well, you're going to get one, maybe, if he has a great season. Yeah.
Yes, it's just the way teams think. And so to move back to from 15 to 4, 15
quarterback. So it is a little bit extra. Right? Yeah, that's the Patriots. Yeah.
For a quarterback, but also you're not necessarily making that known right now. It's not like the Falcons are saying, if you want the 4th quarterback, you got to trade with us because we're going to take the 4th quarterback. They're kind of playing all cards. So you have to make a team believe that you're going to take their guy, and then that guy is worth like a 5, 6, 7 draft picks. Like that's, I think 3, 4 draft picks is probably what you're looking at.
Right.
So I think there is a quarterback tax involved, however.
There is. So like, I think trading up. Go ahead.
If it's for a quarterback and you know that Denver is going to be in that bidding war, and you know that Detroit may be in that bidding war, Carolina we're not even going to look at, but all of these teams are in that bidding war for a quarterback, I don't think it's far-fetched to think that we could get that from the Patriots.
Right.
Just because a quarterback is involved, and it's the last quarterback of that big 4 that, the consensus that those are the 4 best quarterbacks. Whatever you think of Mac Jones aside.
But like I always say, the one position that teams will be willing to overpay for is quarterback. When you need one, you'll see the desperation from teams. Not saying that the Patriots need one, but I think with the aggressiveness that they showed this offseason, I think they'll be willing to part with multiple picks.
They will.
Beautiful point, Eric.
Yes. Yeah. So incredible. So I guess it's just figuring out what we want to ask for, right?
To make it more realistic, I would say a 4th.
Yeah. So what I have right now is 2021 first, which is 15. 2021 second, which is 46. 2021 third, which is 96.
Yep.
And then a 2022 first.
I just think you're not getting a 2022 first.
You're definitely getting one. I don't think the Falcons even pick up the phone if they're not offering
I'm not even picking up the phone if they're not giving a first.
But you're getting the first 3 rounds of this draft from this team.
Yes,
and that is team. I don't think the team is also giving up a first next year. I think they would give up a day 2 pick. Maybe.
I mean, I guess if you're looking at what San Francisco got 3 firsts.
But even more than that,
for a smaller number of jump in terms of
what did they give up for Mohamed Sanu? They'll give up anything.
That is true.
Trade with the Falcons.
The Falcons are very good at fleecing them. That's true.
No, I think even if a quarterback's not involved, it would be a first. I remember a few years ago the Bills gave up a first to go from 9 to 4 for Sammy Watkins. Like, to get into the top 5, it'll cost at least a first rounder. Especially from 15.
You guys might be right. I mean,
I don't know if they'll accept.
I just think it's the first, second, third that is kind of throwing me for it, because that's a lot this year to give up. You usually don't see teams do first, second, third in 1 year. They do a first this year. We'll swap first. We'll give a 4th and a 5th, and then a first next year.
Right.
So it's kind of the first, second, third thing that's throwing me a little bit.
They do have 4
kind of steep.
They have 3 4th rounders, the Patriots do. So it's not like they're not going to make any picks after this. But they'd be giving up basically all of their top 100 picks for a quarterback. But it's just it's a big move up. It's for the last of the big guys. As long as if you don't count certain players, but
that's where that quarterback tax comes into play.
I mean, I think based on what the 49ers got, I don't think the Falcons would accept this offer if they didn't get 2 day 2 picks from the Patriots plus a future first. So, I think they probably do a deal with Denver, but since we're not considering Denver because of what we did last time, so I guess we can see if they accept it. If they don't accept it, we can look at something else. But it says it's about 50-50 that they'll take it. So.
Okay.
So we'll try it out. So first, second, third, and then a future first. What's that?
Are we on to pick 2?
We're almost onto our pick 1, right? Yeah. No. Okay.
This feels like a real draft night.
Yeah, I know. We used all 15 minutes right there. So okay, they did accept it. So there you go.
All right. So we swap first. got a second, third, and a first next year.
Yeah.
Damn,
Okay,
it's a good.
All
haul.
right.
I'll take it.
So
That's it. I mean, that's a reasonable package. If I were the GM, I would be patting the pockets a little bit more.
yeah. All right. So top players left at 15. I'm sure other teams would be interested in trading up, but I don't know if we want to do like a double trade down from 15. I think if we did like to 7, maybe I would consider another trade down. But like, so Micah Parsons is available.
Ooh.
Jalen Phillips,
Ooh.
obviously Najee Harris, and Travis Etienne are still there. Aziz Ojolari, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Elijah Vera Tucker just went off the board. That's usually who I like at this part of the draft.
Yeah, I was about to ask who are the offensive linemen.
Yeah. So it would be like Tevin Jenkins, Rashawn Slater, and Christian Darrisaw gone already. So yeah, the offensive line is pretty, unless you like Tevin Jenkins, but he's a tackle. So yeah, I mean, probably.
I'm going edge.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it would probably be Jalen Phillips. I'm like
I
super
think
high on
it's
him.
Micah.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
going
or Micah. Yes, like if you want a
I think
pure
it's
edge, it would be
Micah.
Phillips. But
Micah's
yeah.
the best player on the board,
Well, yes, he is.
He is. He is.
and he can edge rush.
He can. He can.
They're
They
running.
might.
They're going to start running a 3-4 hybrid defense.
Yes, they
Get a
will.
linebacker who can blitz.
Yeah. No, I forgot about Micah briefly there for a second for some reason. So yeah,
You know what? Let's go with that because
I would take Parsons, but yeah, are we in?
I do consider Parsons a top 10 talent
Yes, me too.
in this
Yeah.
class. If you could just wipe away the off the field stuff like this, he would not escape the outside of the top 10 in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I'm good with Parsons.
Okay.
Or trade the pick for Maurice Hurst,
Hey,
who was still my all-time favorite draft love.
I can't believe they didn't draft him at any point before he went to the Raiders. I was like, every time the Falcons were up, I was like, hey, Maurice Hurst is still here. They didn't listen to me. So
They
That was
aside
a
from
draft.
picking Grady Jarrett finally, like every time I thought they were in on the defensive tackle that I liked, they weren't. Like every single year that happened. It hurt.
yeah. Well, thank God we weren't right about Taven Bryan. So they were right. I was wrong. So
That was a fun draft.
Yeah.
that was a fun draft. Yeah, they were
That
right
was.
about Calvin Ridley. So good for them. All right. So Micah Parsons, it is. We finally made our first pick. All right.
All right, so now what we need to do is we need to rush through every pick until we get to the very end, and then we got to grind it out for 15 minutes. That's how we do it.
We have 2 seconds, right?
Yeah, we
first
got a
one-
second.
I
Yeah, we have 2
think-
seconds. Yes, because we have pick 46 from the Patriots as well.
I think we traded for too many picks. It's already 9:36.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to be a little bit quicker with these ones. So okay.
I mean,
so top-
Terry's got kids. They got a bedtime, man. We got to be realistic about this.
Yeah. All right. So Christian Barmore is the top ranked player left on the board. Let's take a look at some of the other options. All right. So at edge, Greg Rousseau is the top guy left. Ronnie Perkins, Joseph Asai, Joe Tryon. Let's see. Cornerback. It's Aaron Robinson, Kelvin Joseph, Asante Samuel Jr., who we took last time at this spot. Let's see. Offensive running back. Let's see.
We have on the interior offensive line.
Yeah. Creed Humphrey, Wyatt Davis, Landon Dickerson, all still there. So those are certainly tempting.
I like Wyatt Davis
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I like Wyatt Davis too. I'm a big
Who are
Creed
the
Humphrey fan
safeties?
as well. But let me check the safety. That's a good idea. Trayvon Merrick went at 34
Yeah, I was
right
gonna
before
say
the
that's-
Falcons. Yeah, so that kind of sucks. Javon Holland, Richie Grant, still there as the top 2 safeties.
I like Rousseau here. If you're going to
Value or just
value. Like
value.
if you're going to invest on upside, I get it with the second round pick. It's kind of like what the Cowboys did with Jalen Smith, and it's like there's talent clear and obvious, like with this player. What has been the biggest need for the Falcons consistently over the last like
10 years.
frankly, outside of John Abraham being signed, like the entirety of the past like 2 decades.
This
Patrick Kearney was like the last guy before John Abraham that was like a good pass rusher. So just double down like what they did with the offensive line with Lindstrom and McGarry and just hit on defense as many times as possible on the D line.
I don't know. His
Just to-
testing scares me so much, Gregory Rousseau. Like,
The upside is tempting, but I mean, it scares you. But the kid is just now.
he's clearly special. Yes.
He's just now growing into an NFL body. He's just now playing a particular position. The upside here is too tempting to pass on, to be honest with you.
Who's left at quarterback? I'm gonna be the guy that asks that question.
Let me find out.
I mean, we go.
Kellen Mond, you a big Kellen Mond guy?
Is Justin Fields still on the board?
Right. Let's see. Kyle Trask.
Oh,
Yeah. Kyle Trask, Davis Mills, Kellen Mond, Jamie Newman are the top quarterbacks.
I covered
We
Davis
coulda
Mills
always-
coming out of high school, actually. He went to my wife's high school.
Davis Mills is the one quarterback outside of the Premier 5 or whatever. He's the one quarterback that I can see being a starter one day.
I like Kellen Mond too, but not at 35.
I could see Davis Mills being like a career backup. Like a Brian Hoyer is
Yeah.
Davis Mills to me.
We could always start this over, take Pitts at 4, and then take Kyle Trask in the second.
Let's see. Pat Fryermuth's still here, by the way. So if we wanted to take a tight end,
I mean, Arthur Smith's got to be thinking it. So
Eric,
probably-
Kevin, who was your guy? Who
For-
did y'all
for-
like
who at tight
for
end?
this pick?
I don't know. I guess I'd probably take like Wyatt Davis or Creed Humphrey. If it was
White
me.
Davis, that was it.
Yeah. The upside is for Russo though.
That's again my point is I
I'd
would
go with
say
Rousseau.
but
At one point, we were discussing like trading back to like 8 or 9 and taking Rousseau there at the
Rousseau,
beginning of
right.
this draft
Right.
process.
so that's where if it is BPA, because I'm trying to kind of put myself in like a Terry Fontenot mindset where it's like, all right, like who's the best guy? Like, and
but it's
for
both.
me, that's
It's like
great.
we still need like an edge rusher.
Yeah, we
Right.
do.
Yeah, it's need and fit, or it's fit and talent.
I say go for it. I say Russo. Go for it.
Okay, we'll do Rousseau.
Like 4 months
It'd be a
ago,
nice
if you had
draft.
said we get Greg Russo and who did we pick in the first round?
Michael Parsons.
Michael
Yeah.
Parsons,
People would be
Right,
like,
and
"Holy
that-
shit!"
and then
Right.
the first next year as well.
Yeah, and first next year. Okay, so we'll take Rousseau.
That's
All
how you
right.
overhaul a defense, fellas.
Oh man, we'll still get some shit for this though.
No, we're getting shit no matter what we pick.
Last
Yeah,
on
that's
pick,
oh yeah, that's 100% true.
whatever.
Oh, Dave knows firsthand.
I'll pass on Pitts for a possible top 10 defense later on down the line.
All
What's it? Yeah, if you can get your safety within these next couple picks, you've taken a playmaker at all 3 phases of the defense.
Someone get Mike Nolan on speed dial.
Right. Okay. So, top players left on the board: Christian Barmore, defensive tackle; Levi Onwuzurike, defensive tackle; Creed Humphrey, Wyatt Davis, Landon Dickerson, Ronnie Perkins, Joseph Osai, Amari Rogers from Clemson. Those are all the top guys left. I believe some of the corners might still be there as well.
Wait, people in the comments are saying that Fields was still there.
Yeah, he was, but I'm not accepting that was an option at this point.
Wait, in
the
the
draft.
second round?
Yes, I assume something got
Alright,
scuffed and the
Throw
and
the
the
whole
simulation forgot
simulation
about
away.
it.
Throw it
Yeah.
all away.
But I'm not throwing away all the work we did.
Let the record show that Kevin withheld
did.
information from the panel.
I did, yeah,
And
because
that does not reflect
because
upon
it would
our-
it would have ruined all of our hard work if I had entertained the prospect of
This
Fields.
is
at,
a real a few good men situation here. I feel like you're yelling at us that we can't handle the truth, and
Yeah, you can't
It
handle
hurts.
the dark truth of this simulation
uh,
being scuffed beyond repair. But
I mean,
we're just
I
gonna
was
keep
just
trudging
joking
on.
about Fields being in the second round.
Yeah, I
No,
guess
somebody.
Field there?
Yeah, somebody spotted it. Yeah, I did notice that he was there, but I was not going to accept that he was there.
Algorithm again.
I assume it was just a bug because he was like ranked 8th overall,
There's no
and
way.
like teams should just start taking him as the best player available in like the teens, even if they don't need quarterbacks. So.
Check the tight ends. Maybe Kyle Pitts is still there.
Right, yeah, let me double check. No, I already did check that. If Kyle Pitts was there, I would have broken the simulation for that. But yeah,
Right here though, I would like offensive line. I would like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like White.
I'd take Dickerson.
I absolutely
Personally.
agree.
Yeah.
well, are we going to fight over which offensive lineman though? Because I like Creed Humphrey, but I also am totally fine with Wyatt Davis. I like Creed
All right,
Humphrey's
let's,
versatility.
Rock, paper, scissors. Let's go.
I'm fine with Davis or Dickerson, honestly.
Yeah, I'm good with you.
I like Vi Davis.
Let's do Davis then, just so we don't argue. Because we got to start making some of these picks. Maybe we can trade up so we don't have to make those late round ones. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So we will take Wyatt
Good point.
Davis.
Man, that's a pretty good haul.
Yeah. So for folks, we've got Micah Parsons at 15, Gregory Rousseau at 35, and Wyatt Davis at 46.
It's a good draft.
How
Yeah.
can you complain about that?
Inside out, baby. Build inside out.
Building those
What's up?
trenches.
Wait, they
Building
love the
those
tricks.
trenches. Yep.
How can you be upset about that? That's a good haul.
Yeah.
No,
that
people
was
will
pretty
find
good.
a way.
Yep. All right. So,
I don't see a quarterback, fellas. That's what they're going to complain about.
yep.
I'll be honest, man. At this point, let's not even entertain it.
Let's just go all in to win.
They don't-
Well,
But
when,
Matt Ryan
when,
is
when you
washed.
look at the roster, you'll see a quarterback, which is
Yeah.
the important part. So
That is
There
true.
will be at least one. Yep. Maybe only
But with
one.
Matt
at this
Schaub
point.
gone, it's just not the same.
It's
Yeah.
not the same.
like
Yeah, I get
that's why it's sorry, Matt Chubb. But that's why it's so difficult, like doing all this, because it's like, do they want that position filled for the next 15 years, or do they want that position filled by the best player they have right now? And like that's
I think
that's
a
what
lot
makes
of-
all of this so hard. But
a lot
yeah,
of people that are against taking a quarterback early, they don't even point that out. Like they literally have one quarterback on the roster right
they,
so-
like Matt Ryan's still good. We shouldn't
He
talk
is.
about him like he's not.
No,
But
Matt Ryan's
Ma-
very good. This has nothing to do with Matt Ryan. Yeah.
They can always re-sign Matt Sims, the simulator.
Yeah, get the simulator fired up for the preseason again. Yeah.
I
All right.
I do remember covering a whole Hall of Fame game with Matt Sims, just watching
Yeah.
every single snap of that. Dave,
Yeah.
how could you make us do that?
now. So what we got here?
What we got? Yeah.
Yeah.
We do got to start getting through some of these picks. It's almost 10 o'clock already. So
That's a story for a different day. Yeah, we'll
yes,
cover that later.
We'll get to that in the dead zone, yeah. But yeah, so we got 2 offensive tackles at the top, Brady Christensen, James Hudson. We've also got Richie Grant, Milton Williams from Louisiana Tech, Tommy Togiai, defensive tackle, a couple wide receivers, Carlos Basham Jr. still there, Pete Werner, linebacker, Janarius Robinson at edge as well.
What are the running backs?
Is Gainwell?
Michael Carter, Kenneth Gainwell, Trey Sermon are the top 3 left.
I like Gainwell here. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take Gainwell or Sermon
He's got a third
personally.
round. He's got a third.
Yeah, because we have an extra
I-
third, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if we want to gamble necessarily. The Gainwell wouldn't be there, but we probably
I'd go with
also
Richie
need
Grant here personally.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Richie Grant's higher on the board.
I don't think Richie Grant.
Richie Grant's not going to make it much longer.
think he
Richie
makes
Grant's definitely not going to make it. Maybe Gainwell would make it, but again, like if we missed on Carter and Gainwell, Trey Sermon, Ramondre Stevenson, all those guys, still options that we could consider.
Let's
So
go with Gainwell here.
you just want to take Gainwell and just let Richie Grant just like slide away into the darkness.
Let's because my thinking is he's not going to be here in the top of the third.
Well, I don't think Richie Grant's going to be there either, but maybe there's more safeties. I guess is what you're
Yeah,
thinking.
there's more safeties. Let's address safety. With
Yeah, I agree. Like
And
Andre
it's a strong
Sisco,
safety
yeah.
free agency too.
right?
So I think a lot of safeties will still kind of be on the block after the draft, and teams could maybe pass on some top safeties to grab some guys like on the cheap in free
Yeah.
agency.
I mean, would you take Gainwell over Michael Carter though? I don't know
Yes.
that. I mean, I like Gainwell's upside, but I don't have him ranked above Michael Carter.
I do.
Really? Oh man, you're spicier on Gainwell than me. Wow, I didn't think anybody was, but I mean, Gainwell's more dynamic, certainly.
Because of the versatility. I mean, Gainwell played receivers.
Yeah, I mean,
You can-
Gainwell is more exciting. So
Yeah.
okay,
Going Gainwell.
you convinced me. Is everybody good with that, or not? Are we not good with
Yeah,
that?
I am. I'm fine with it. I mean, his name is Gainwell.
Right.
too,
So
like,
how
this
can
is
you be a bad
important
running
factor
back
for me.
if that's your last name?
Yeah.
The science doesn't make sense. So
Exactly.
all right, that's gonna be our spicy pick. We're getting a spicy pick in.
I thought Parsons was the spicy.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Parsons at 15 is very spicy. I think that's like actually
there's
pretty good
nothing
value.
spicy about that.
that. All right, so we're up in about 10 more picks. Pick 96.
If you really wanted to be spicy, we would have taken Najee Harris at 15.
Right.
Or better yet, at 4.
That's the real way to do it. All right, so all right, top of the board. Michael Carter's still here. That's funny. We've got some corners: Keith Taylor Jr., Elijah Griffin, Benjamin St. Just. Hey, Kyle Trask is still here. No, I'm not interested in Kyle Trask.
Let's get the Trask manager.
I
Let's do it.
will veto any Kyle Trask selection.
Any safeties? Who are the safeties?
Yep, Ardarius Washington, Andre Cisco, Tariq Thompson, Talanoa Hufanga. So plenty of safeties. But yeah, we definitely should take one of the safeties here, just
like
whichever
Cisco.
one. I mean, I like Cisco too. I do like Ardarius Washington. Both of them are kind of risky, right? Because Cisco's coming off injury and he's a wild man. Washington is like the opposite. He's just tiny, but other than that, he's great. So,
You know who else was tiny? Antoine Winfield Jr.
well, so far that hasn't hurt him. So,
Who was 5'9".
yep. I think is Ardarius Washington smaller than that though. He might.
He's 5'8".
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm down for Cisco.
Yeah,
you
I'm
want to
down
talk
for Cisco.
about a tried and true playmaker?
Yeah.
I
He's
mean,
going to make plays for both teams.
he will. There will be lots of plays made. That is for sure. Yeah. All right. Andre Cisco it is. Okay.
Hey, maybe Matt Ryan would truly appreciate us giving him a defense this year.
All right.
Yes, he would.
So, top players left. Ooh, there's some interesting names here. Okay. Cameron McGrone, linebacker. Davis Mills, quarterback. Trey Sermon, running back.
Take Davis Mills.
I'd take Mills at this point for sure. I mean, realistically, they're going to take a quarterback. They're absolutely taking a quarterback in this draft. You might as well get one that might be decent.
I'd rather take Kellen Mond later, though. Because
Guys,
Tyler
yeah.
Shelvin's still here, and that man is an absolute unit. Okay.
He's
Have you
also
seen
nice.
Tyler Shelvin?
Have we
what's
checked
that?
to see if Justin Fields is still on the board?
Any tight end?
Are there any tight ends? I mean, Kenny Yeboah.
Davis Mills is PFF's 7th ranked quarterback, and this is the 3rd round.
This
fourth
is the
round?
4th now. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think the value's there. Get a quarterback in the 4th round. I mean, that's like Dak Prescott value for somebody who gets to sit and learn under Matt Ryan for maybe 2 years. I just think that like if quarterback is the most important position, maybe the whole like discussion about like do they need to get one in the 1st round if they do have the opportunity to develop one and have somebody really like educated over a 2-year period, like can that kind of turn a 4th round quarterback into a good NFL starter? You know, maybe Davis Mills doesn't have the elite upside of some of the guys in this draft, but we've seen quarterbacks that aren't necessarily elite, you know, Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo being the most recent examples, like lead teams to Super Bowls. So, you know, the value is, I think, clearly there with the 4th round. If Davis Mills is like the 7th best quarterback.
I just don't get it with Davis Mills, but I mean, if you guys really like him, that's fine.
I might be hung up on him from the high school days, but
I just
yeah,
don't
that's just
get
me.
it, man. I just don't see it.
I would wait.
Here's
I
my-
would wait for Mond if there's a guy you guys.
I like
would
Mond, but I
as
don't
well.
want to force
But-
my quarterback takes
Here's
on
my
everybody
thing.
else.
Though.
But
Will, if you feel Davis Mills is a career backup, why waste a mid-round pick on
That's fair. That's fair.
him? You can get a quality starter. I mean, and now if they look at Mills and say, hey, we want to groom him to take over from Matt Ryan whenever, okay, you can convince me with that. You can talk me into it. But if
It would be an upside pick. You're banking on his upside, and I just think in the 4th round, I'm more willing to do that with a player.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair as well. Let's see. So some other names we could consider: Tyler Shelvin. Like if they're trying
But
to
I
get
agree with
a
Eric.
legit 3-4 nose tackle, that dude is one of the most massive humans in college football. Also, needs work, but nobody in the 4th round's perfect. Also, Aleem McNeil, Jalen Twyman from Pittsburgh, Trill Williams from Syracuse, cornerback, Hamilcar Rashid Jr. At safety, Talanoa Hufanga is still there. So if we're looking to totally take 2 new safeties, Hufanga's one of my highest rated strong safety guys behind Hamza. So he's an option to totally remake that safety room. We also have a boatload of picks, so we could theoretically take someone and then trade back up to take one of those quarterbacks and end all the debating. But yeah, I guess if it was me, I would go probably Tyler Shelvin, Trill Williams, or Talanoa Hufanga would be my top choices, but I'm willing to hear other arguments. If anyone has.
I'll say let's. Yeah. I'd go for Williams myself, and I guess
do like Trill Williams a lot. Yeah.
I'd wait another round and see, but if all the quarterbacks are gone, I'm gonna channel Terry Fontenot and not be happy. So.
Well, what we can do is as soon as Davis Mills goes off the board, we can just pause it and then trade up for whichever quarterback is left because we have so many late picks. I'm sure we could package something together for a quarterback. It's
so
late enough.
Who is left? Is it Newman?
Davis Mond, Newman, Brady White, Sam Ehlinger. So there's some guys, but yeah, I mean, as soon as Davis Mills goes off the board, Kellen Mond can basically go at any time. So yeah, but
this is where I struggle with this because best player available, I feel is not positionless,
right?
Too. So that's what I keep running into is they've deliberately to this point not touched the quarterback position, so they're gonna do something with it.
They're gonna have to.
I just don't know.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you, Dave. It's kind of like you can say best player available, but to a point, you're kind of dumb if you don't understand the inherent value of positions in the game that you play. It's like saying that we're going to take best player available in chess and then picking a pawn over a queen.
That pawn has grit.
Don't do that. The pawn has grit. Right.
And
that's
potential.
cool, but the pawn's only on the field for 11 or 12 plays a game because they're
unless
a pawn.
Unless it becomes a queen.
Unless it becomes a queen. Hey, draft stories happen, man.
Right.
Tom Brady. Look at him. He's a pawn. He became a king.
Hey, bro, you're speaking my language with these chess analogies now. I mean, we can have a whole show about this.
Sir, I am the story behind Queen's Gambit. Just for your knowledge, but I agree. It's quarterback is so valuable that if you're at number 4, that's when you pick them. Right. You get the best quarterback available.
Right,
I don't think in the 4th round. I just don't see the Falcons really looking at Jamie Newman.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're going to wait and see who kind of shakes out. They probably have someone in mind they'd like as a developmental guy, but even then, taking someone in the 5th, they're probably just going to sign a veteran backup at this point. They didn't get a quarterback at 4. They traded out. They're probably just going to sign a veteran backup.
I think they're going to do that anyway.
Yeah, well, no matter what, yes. But, I mean, I think if they take, Justin Fields at 4, they maybe don't need a veteran backup because they've got TJ Yates in the building. He's ready to go.
TJ Yates went to high school.
Look, Galaxy Brain, you don't need a backup quarterback if you got one on your coaching staff. So, he can suit up at a moment's notice, get out there, take some snaps. So, no, but you guys get with Trill Williams. We'll We'll just move it forward. Yeah. Speaking of the
sorry,
picks,
sorry,
yeah.
Trill Williams, we
Yeah.
didn't give you your due.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm good with anything that moves us forward.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on.
Dave, why does it look so depressing every single time I see your settings, your surroundings?
All right, so
It looks so dark.
I'm filming this. Yeah, it's like a wintry hellscape behind me.
so he wants to hide it from the people.
So that's why I got the curtain up. So
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, every
so,
time it's April. Why does it still look like? Never mind.
So Davis Mills.
we'll take
win
this
at-
offline. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll take this offline. Davis Mills win at 120. So I've paused the draft. We could theoretically try to engineer a trade up to get Kellen Mond if we would like to have Kellen Mond as our backup quarterback, developmental guy. So I can figure out, what that would look like. The Raiders have pick 121. It shouldn't be too expensive.
How many more picks do we have left?
We have 3/5 and 2/6. So
Just
we could
let's
definitely
move
get
on
it
to this
done.
pick.
Yeah.
Let's just trade all of them.
Just end it right now.
You sound like somebody in the war room.
Right.
That's
So-
exactly how it goes.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, I think we should just get rid of our 6ths to get this done. So we'll still have 2/5 that are like later 5ths, but we'll trade our 2 end of the draft 6ths to move up a couple spots in the 4th round. What do you guys? For a quarterback.
Let's go get Davis Mills.
Well, technically it's Kellen Mond because Davis Mills just went, but that's what prompted this. Yeah. So, crap. Well, if it was Davis Mills, I was in. Now I'm out. But we'll see if they'll take 2/6 for it. I think they probably will. But one of them's actually a good 6th. The other one's late, but whatever. All right, Raiders, come on. There you go. Bam. Making moves. All right. Kellen Mond. We get a quarterback, folks. For all of you quarterback wanners out there, we got Kellen Mond in tow. Good to go. All right.
Now there will be no complaints.
Now there will be
Eric,
you can't possibly nitpick
I
this
think we
draft.
might hear from Eric later, just judging by body language. So
Yeah. Eric wanted
Kellen's
to
also
make those
not-
late rounders. Yeah.
He's not nearly as good at Fortnite as Kurt Benkert is. So
Yeah. That's the
just
real.
a bad backup right there.
Yeah. Just if you can't just get the crew together and blast through a Fortnite game, then I don't know what you're doing. All right. Yeah, 3 quarterbacks actually went before we would have picked at 148. So it was actually smart if we did want Kellen Mond to trade up for him. So, that was a good move, guys. Good job.
That's second run. That's
Yeah,
only
that's
what
second quarterback
expert
run.
GMs,
Yep. We just predicted it. So
they think about that stuff.
hey, we're gonna have back-to-back picks, and I think that would be the end of the draft. So cool stuff. All right, so
Oh boy.
we've got 182 and 183. Those will be the final 2 picks of our draft class. So top players on the board, as you might expect, a lot of wide receivers, as tend to be this part of the draft. We've also got some edge guys: Ellerson Smith, Malcolm Kuntz, Patrick Johnson, Wyatt Hubert. We've also got the wide receivers: Marlon Williams, Shai Smith, Josh Imatorbhebhe, cornerback Demodor Lenore of Oregon.
I'm at
some
the
running
point
backs.
where
Yeah.
I'm down to go for the guy with the coolest name.
I feel like they have to. They gotta. They have to
Well,
take-
Amon-Ra St. Brown would be that guy.
Yeah, he's not here. Otherwise, I'd definitely take him.
They have to. They have to go tight end, right? At this point.
Yeah, probably.
Trey McKitty's still
Yeah.
here. That's actually a good pick here. I would definitely.
Had we taken Kyle Pitts, we wouldn't have this issue.
Speaking of great names, Trey McKitty.
I like.
Yeah.
I like McKitty. I like.
Yeah. Well, that's one. We'll do him for one of them. So there we go.
McKitty.
Now we have another pick. Yeah. Yeah, the value here is probably a wide receiver. I do think they're going to add a wide receiver because this is a really good wide receiver class. It just depends on what flavor you want.
Here is where I wouldn't mind going edge again.
Yeah,
Yes.
with them keeping
Yes.
Fowler and getting Rousseau, it's not as big a
Right.
deal, but
Just for an assurance policy because Russo is not going to be He's not going to hit it in year one. Let's just be
Right,
honest.
right. I mean, I don't think anybody we're taking at pick 183 is going to be contributing a lot
No,
this year either.
just
I guess to me, like, I feel like Marlon Williams or Josh
Oh,
Ahmad or BB would be
guys,
like bigger
guys,
contributors. Yeah.
George makes a good point. We need a player from the University
Yeah,
of Georgia.
Trey McKitty. He's from
McKitty.
Georgia. Yeah. So we got we're just checking all the boxes for this mock. We got them all.
Yeah, well, we need at least one UGA player.
Yeah, we got that.
Or-
That box is checked. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, or-
I keep forgetting you took Parsons at 15.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
drops would have been invalid if not.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I guess I would go for Williams
like-
or Ahmad or BB, but
I like Amato Bebe.
yeah, he's a freak
Yeah,
athlete, man.
it is Bebe.
Athlete.
It's Bebe. Okay.
6-inch vertical. 2 seasons ago at Illinois, he averaged 19 yards a catch.
Yeah.
Big body receiver, a little bit over 6 feet, 215, close to 220, something like that.
His brother's a tight end, I believe. I
Kellen.
think I covered him. Yeah, coming out of high school. So like he's definitely a big bodied receiver who can like win, at the point of the catch. And
Definitely can win jump balls. I
Yeah.
would go that route. I like the upside here with him. He can definitely be a deep threat, especially.
Yeah.
he can have a role on an NFL team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bebe it is. Bam. There we go. Back-to-back picks. Got the UGA box checked and got 2 of the best names in the draft back-to-back. So,
Deep threat. I like
That's all you can ask for in the 6th round.
yeah. That's how I decide. So yeah, the Falcons ended up making 9 picks, actually the same amount they would have made normally because we traded up and got rid of those 2 sixths, which
All we got
was
was-
merciful.
horses.
Yeah, what's up, Eric? I said they would on Crossfire.
Whatever.
Take me on.
It was like
Whatever.
through multiple like maneuvers, but they're 9 picks. They're just 9 drastically better picks than they would have had normally.
We had to
so.
go. We had to go get Kellen Mond. That's why.
Well, did you really want to make those 2 late 6th round picks? Okay. Is that what you wanted to do?
It saved us
We
a
didn't
half
have
hour on
Kellen
a
Mond
Wednesday
at
night.
home. We had to go get Kellen Mond.
Yes.
I'm
we
sorry.
don't- Yeah. So, just to satiate, we need a QB crowd. So,
Yeah, we satiated that crowd, the UGA crowd, the defense crowd.
yep.
The long
yeah.
snapper crowd.
No. How dare you? Josh Harris is our long snapper crowd forever. I will never, consider a long
Well,
snapper.
Is that it?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
He meant during the show.
Let's make Josh Harris our quarterback.
Hey,
The
why
most
not?
accurate 7-yard passer in the NFL.
Yep, that's
Is
true.
that-
Fight me. What's up?
Just short game all day.
Are we done?
All right. Yeah, we're done. So we got Eric's like, all right, I'm out of here. Yeah. So we got to recap. We have Micah Parsons at 15 after a trade down with the Patriots. We have Gregory Rousseau at 35, edge from Miami at 46. We have Wyatt Davis from Ohio State, interior offensive lineman at 68. Picked up running back Kenneth Gainwell from Memphis at 96. We picked up safety Andre Sisco from Syracuse. At 108, we picked up quarterback Trill Williams, also from Syracuse. We just have the whole Syracuse secondary over here. Just need Ifeatu Melifonwu, and then we have the whole band. But
Sterling Hoffrichter.
yeah,
Syracuse.
it's going to be the Syracuse South pretty soon. So traded up and gave up our 2 sixths for a chance to get quarterback Kellen Mond from Texas A&M. Then with our 2 compensatory 5th rounders, we selected tight end Trey McKitty from Georgia and wide receiver Josh Amader-Bebe from Illinois. So there you have it, folks. That is our second Falcoholic Live mock draft. I promise we'll do a realistic one at some point. Just the spiciness is, entertaining. But yeah, we'll
Kevin,
probably
that was a great mock draft.
yes.
good job.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good.
I
good
still
job,
would have
guys.
taken Fields in the 2nd right there, though.
Yeah, I can't believe you withheld that from us. I'm going to hold
I
that
did-
against you for a long
Yeah,
time.
that's fine.
It comes with an asterisk. Yeah,
It does, yeah, because we passed on Fields multiple times. We're just feeding into the narrative that he's bad. So
Hey, well, we never know what type of gas mask video may come out.
yeah, I mean
That-
anything could happen.
Yeah, it ended up bolstering the Dolphins franchise. We got them like 4 first rounders overall.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's crazier, like Fields being there in the second round, or like the Bears having a chance to get Justin Fields at 20 and just saying like, nah.
No, we're good with Andy
I wonder
Dalton.
who they took instead. Yeah, Andy Dalton's our starter. Yeah, they took Rashad Bateman instead of Justin Fields.
God.
So
Wait, they
Oh
really?
my-
That's what the program did?
yeah, so I'm guessing the program forgot about Justin Fields. I've never actually seen one of those top, even Mac
Right,
Jones
well,
fall past
People are gonna still have jobs for a while. Everybody.
yeah,
So
yeah.
pat yourself, celebrate. It's we're still here for a while.
Yes,
I
'cause the
would
computers have
love-
not replaced us yet. So,
I would love to see the reaction of Bears Twitter if that
oh yeah,
happened.
they would just flip out. Yeah, that would be just for the memes. This like crazy scenario would be fun. But yeah, guys. Oh yeah, people wanted to see the details of the Pats trade. Yeah, so it's the Patriots got pick 4, we got pick 15, pick 46, their second rounder, pick 96, their third rounder, and a 2022 first for reference. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed having Josh Harris on and having these wonderful guests. So speaking of these wonderful guests, first of all, I want to thank Dave Cho, the boss man at the Falcoholic, for coming on. Dave, anything that you're working on you want to let the people know about?
I'm working. We're all working to get you to the draft, entertained, not bored out of your skull, and talking about interesting things. And I know it's a stretch with a month to go, but everybody here has got great ideas. I know that the guys have great draft content, so keep an eye out for it.
Yep, absolutely, guys. Also with us tonight, Will McFadden. He is at Will McFadden on Twitter. Will, anything you're working on you want to let people know about?
Yeah, I'm writing a piece soon on. Yeah, I'm gonna cover the Falcoholics' #1 Mac Jones fan, which is our own Dave Choate. So anybody who has Mac Jones videos, highlights, anything like that, just go ahead and shoot it over to @WordsAndBeer, and then I'll probably aggregate you and throw you in a piece.
It's amazing
so
to
yeah.
me, like everybody that comes through the doors here, comes back through the doors, just instinctively knows to dunk on me at the end of these things. Like it's just happens.
Everybody.
You-
You recruit a vibe.
I
Dave.
do.
You attract a certain type of moth to your flame, and I love
And
it.
that moth is gonna get me some Mac Jones clips at some point. I know it. I can
Yep.
feel it in my bones.
So that's what I've got it going on now.
Yeah, excellent. Definitely look forward to that one, guys. Also with us tonight, we have Eric Robinson. He is at _Eric_Robinson. Eric, anything that you're working on you'd like to plug?
Just put out a new scouting report on Richie Grant, so give that a look. I'll definitely be getting started on my next mock draft as well. Be on the lookout for that. And we're still just cranking out draft content.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Check that out for sure. Finally with us, Adnan Ikic at Say Which Way. Adnan, anything that you're working on?
Well, I'm finally going to start my March Madness thing, except it's not March anymore, so I'm going to completely rename it
How about
to
April Anarchy?
Yeah, I like that. If it lasts any
I've been
longer,
waiting
maybe
all
Blue
show.
Madness,
I've
so
been waiting
let's-
all show for that. So yeah,
That's
Yeah,
a draft
yeah.
season series right there.
yeah.
yeah. We'll continue to brainstorm the
We'll
name.
workshop it. We'll workshop it.
Yeah, and I stick with us at the Falcoholic, and if you have any complaints at all about
Don't do
anything
this.
we've done during the draft,
Right now.
I love how he knows it's coming.
You son of a bitch! No.
Yeah, if you have
Poor
any
Dave.
complaints about anything the Falcons are doing in general, just at the Falcoholic. Will got Dave's personal Twitter handle, so at his Falcoholic12, just so he has nowhere to hide.
Yes, there you go.
I want to make clear that Eric is my favorite for not doing this. So
Yeah.
that's
Good on you, Eric. You got some brownie points with the boss, man. It's important to build that
Ugh.
build that portfolio. Yeah, guys.
You'll get the Kyle Pitts profile.
Yep,
Congratulations.
exactly. Congratulations. Yep. Guys, that's not a gift. No. Yeah, guys, I'm Kevin Knight at Falcoholic Kevin on Twitter. you can find my stuff on thefalcoholic.com. We'll be having lots of draft content. I'm going to be doing some more videos on the free agent editions. The cupboard is a little bit bare in terms of guys that actually have like meaningful tape to look at. But Fabian Moreau will be the next one, so he does actually have some, starting snaps. So look for that one next, and then it'll be all draft from here on out. So until then, guys, thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Falcoholic Live, and obviously check out thefalcoholic.com as well for all that great written Falcons content. Until next time, guys, I'm Kevin Knight. For everyone else, have a great night. We will talk to you next week.